Form terms. In this module, we are going to see the term attributes in forms. Why to make changes in a form instead of in the dictionary? As in life, something can be useful sometimes and not so much other times. Then, what should you do to avoid inheriting the dictionary configurations? Some examples: when the change we need to make does not affect the rest of the places where the field is being used, when we want to make sure that certain changes in the dictionary of terms do not affect a specific form, and when it is not possible to make certain changes in the dictionary of terms, but it is possible to make them in the form, or the other way around. Let's see an example of a term and the difference that can find in the dictionary and in the form. In the case of a simple selection term, we can see that the configuration options are different depending from where we configure the term. So here we can see that this has been configured in the dictionary of terms, this one from the form. In the dictionary of terms, we have option list and tree. Option list and tree. If we configure the term from the form, then we have the option list and markers. So for example, in the A form, if we want the term options to appear as an option list, we can set it that way from both places. If we want the term options to appear as markers, we must configure it from the form. If we want to appear it as a search in a tree, it can be indicated from the dictionary of terms and it cannot be changed in the form. If we see this simple selection term in the dictionary of terms, we can see that we can configure the option language. It allows us to change the name of the term in different languages. We can select tree. That makes the search easier when there's a lot of options. We structure it in a tree and place the options in branches. Okay, so we have like branches. So this way we can look for a term without having to go through all of them. On the other hand, here we have options. It allows you to create options, change the order, the names of the option, to choose a default option and the visible options. And data protection. It allows you to indicate if the field contains data that has to be protected. Let's see now the term configuration options from the forms. Here we can select if we want to inherit the mass from the dictionary or customize it. If we select customize it, we can choose language. Yeah, it allows you to change the option names as we said before. Trigger, it allows you to trigger elements when you select an option, and you can make them visible too. So you can choose here if you want them visible in the form or not. Here we can also choose if we want the option to appear as an option list or markers. Okay? And we can also choose the number of lines we want to. Let's see now some examples so it's easier to understand. So let's go to the application, My Tasks, Start the Process, Teacher, General Terms. And now let's imagine that, for example, I want to change the name of this element. So I don't want to call it family element, but I want to change the name. So if I go to Settings and I click on it, we can do that from here. So if we go to languages, customize, find the right place, and then we can customize it. So save and exit. Okay, as we can see, it has changed. It's really easy. If we wanted to configure things that had to do with this term, we just, as we said before, we just have to click here. Okay, and we have a lot of options here, or go here. Okay, it's the same. As we see here, okay, we just see that this little icon has changed. Okay, it used to be like this and now it's like that. This only means that we have customized it. Okay, if we go now to, for example, the multiple selection one. Okay, again, if we were to go here, we will see the options. These three little things is just to make it visible. Okay, editable and mandatory. Okay, we just have to click if we want it to be mandatory or not. Okay, more options here will be this to delete languages, as we have said before, the configuration, the title position, then all these options as well, the style. Let's go to the configuration from here. And I'm going to change it to markers, for example. Okay. And I'm going to put maybe 2 options per line. Save and exit. Okay. As we can see, 2 options per line, yeah. If we go to the simple selection now, we can see we have the 3 visible. And if you see now, I cannot change anything because it's inherit from dictionary. If I go to customize, then I'm allowed to change it. I'm gonna remove simple selection 2, okay? So it won't be visible anymore. And save and exit. So now we can go to see all these changes here. So let's start one. General terms, and let's see if we have all the changes. As you see, we changed the name, okay? We also changed the multiple selection thing, which we put 2 per line. So we have 1 option here and 1 there. The simple selection, we took selection 2 away. We remove it, so it's okay. And let's go back to settings to change the title position so it looks a bit better because there's not much space. So if we go here, title position, put top. Okay, and that's a bit better. Now let's select them and distribute. Okay. And save. If we go back here and we go to 3 simple selection, we can see that we have 3 options, but if we expand, we can see a lot more options. This is very useful when we have a lot of elements, so we don't have to go through all of them to find the right one. So this way is a lot quicker. So if I know it's national, I'll just go directly here and just have 3 options, or international. Okay, so it is obviously the best option when we have a lot of elements. Okay, let's go back. Let's go back here, and now let's imagine that I want to set up an option in the yes no field as default. Okay, let's imagine I want to set yes as default in here. If I try to do it here, okay, we can see that it doesn't let me modify it. This is something I need to do in the dictionary of terms. I cannot do it from here. So, as we said before, to do it in a quicker way, we just can go here, all, and then I'll have the panel with all the options. I'll find the term. Yes, no, and if I click on it, I can go from here to the dictionary configuration. From here, as you can see, I can set the default value, which we said it will be yes. So, as we saw before, we can click on a term in the panel to access the dictionary of terms to modify the configuration. Okay, so save and exit. And let's see. Let's start another process. Yeah, as you can see, we have done it properly. Okay, so as soon as we get in here, we can see that the default thing is already selected. In this case, yes. Okay, so we just need to take that into account, that sometimes we can change several configurations from here, or we can create, but to modify it, we normally have to go to the dictionary of terms. So we have seen how to make changes to attributes from the form itself. Most attributes can be modified from the form, but we have seen how some specific cases when changes can only be made from the dictionary of terms, like in this case, tree symbol selection.